Dormant bulbs really aren't that much to look at now, but get them planted during autumn and come spring, your garden will be full of colour. I'll show you how to get the best out of your spring bulbs year after year, whether you're planting in the ground or in a container.
An easy reminder to get your bulbs planted is the daylight saving switch. Autumn's best as the bulbs require cold soil to remain dormant.
I reckon get lots of different varieties going. That way you get a longer flowering season and a surprise every time a new flower pops up. A few to choose from are your classic freesia, which smells great, anemones for ground cover, crocus for early spring flowers, Dutch iris, which look great planted in bigger clumps, ranunculus, daffodils, hyacinths, and finally tulips. It's a great idea if you can to plant them somewhere where you can enjoy the amazing scent, especially from the hyacinths and freesias. I'm going to plant some daffodils here near the entrance of the house, so they're going to look great.
Now spring bulbs love well-drained and rich soil, so I'm going to add some organic compost and some bulb mix to the bed.
Now it's going to work through the soil. If you do come across any clay, it's a good idea to put in some clay breaker, gypsum. It's just going to help break it down over time and help with the drainage for your bulbs. This is also a really good time to add some bulb food. Be sure to read the directions on the back of the packet, but we just use a little bit. Make sure to mix this food through really well so it doesn't burn the new delicate roots coming through from the bulbs. Now let's get these daffodils in the ground. Space them out about 10 centimetres apart. When you're making your holes, go about twice as deep as the bulb is wide. So with these, we're about 4 centimetres wide, so we're going to go about 8 centimetres deep. And then we just place them in the hole.
If they're too shallow, the plant won't have the support it needs to grow well.
Just cover them up again, ready for a mulch and a water.
If you're planting straight into the lawn, a bulb planter keeps the job tidy. It brings the lawn up with the soil, then pops it straight back in.
Bulbs also do really well in a pot. It means you can use a few different varieties and have different flowers popping up at different times throughout the season. Now I've chosen to go with tulips for our base layer, some daffodils in our middle layer, and some crocus in our top layer. Firstly, we're going to put in a base layer of bulb mix.
Now a good garden design tip is to always plant things in odd numbers. So plant 3 or 5 as opposed to 4.
Let's get the tulips in.
In a pot, spacing is less important as we want it to look nice and full. So that's 3 tulips at the bottom.
Now we're just going to cover with another layer of bulb mix over the top. Next, the daffodils. Try and stagger these from your bottom layer, but it doesn't matter too much because they're all going to come up to find the light.
I'll pop 7 of those in there.
And more bulb mix over the top. And lastly, our crocus.
I'll plant 7 of these as well.
Just press them down a little bit and then finish off with a final layer of our bulb mix. Now these are just little bulbs, so they don't need to be too deep. Right, ready for some water? You don't need to water bulbs much, as they actually get enough from the winter rain. Right, now put them somewhere shady for about 4 to 5 weeks until the sprouts start to show. Pull them into the sun and then they'll start flowering and you can just enjoy them.
Feed your spring bulbs when you plant, once they sprout, and after they flower. Bulb food has the right mix of NPK, rich in potassium K, for flowering. Now in terms of maintenance,
these daffodils have started to die down. Now the foliage is starting to look quite scraggly, but it's really important to leave this on because this will be the food for next year's growth. Now if it does bother you, you can tie them in a knot. This will keep it looking a little tidier and actually helps accelerate that dieback process. These daffodils have been naturalized, which means they've stayed in the ground for a couple of seasons and they're going to produce great flowers year after year.
In warmer regions, it can be a good idea to lift certain bulb types over summer, which is basically digging them up so they don't burn in the hot soil. Lift when the foliage starts to die back, store, and then chill them before replanting next season. If you plan on lifting, planting into a bulb basket makes it easier.
And that's pretty much it. Planting spring bulbs is really quick and you get to enjoy the results year after year. So my advice, go get stuck in this autumn.